Hi, I'm Martina. Welcome to Third Eye Scoop. I'm doing a series called The Devil Wears Fame, but within this series, I thought I would look at some of the victims. We've been looking at celebrities, possible celebrities connected to the P. Diddy story, but I thought I would look at it from the victim perspective. And there's two alleged victims with a high profile or high visibility. And it's Jaguar Wright and Ali Carter. I've already done Ali Carter's reading, so if you'd like to check that out. And today I'm looking at Jaguar Wright, and I know that she has long been on the story with particularly Jay-Z. I know she was connected to the music industry. She is a Taurus, and I think her life path is 9, which is interesting in itself. It's like she has got the spiritual wisdom to live this life, but there's going to be a final push or a final challenge or mastering of a final epic lesson, if you like. So let's see where this takes us. So I'll be looking at her current energy, her soul contract, what she's here to do. What was her life like before fame? What was her life post fame, or at least this new fame that she has in terms of being, victim advocate, if you like. What's the outcome? I'm also, after this reading, going to do a Jaguar versus Ali reading because I want to see how these two warriors can coexist. I think there's a little bit of tension lately from what I see online. So let's see if we can get some clarity to help alleviate some of those stresses and see if they can, somehow find a common ground, if you like. Okay, so let's start with a flower essence for Jaguar Wright. I mean, Taurus energy, very stubborn. But yes, sometimes we need those energies, right? Especially when you're facing such adversity. So can we get a flower essence for Jaguar Wright? Thank you. Larch. Lack of confidence, depressed, discouraged, feeling of inferiority. When you need more self-confidence. Okay, let me just grab that. Okay, so let's just take a few drops for Jaguar Wright. As energy has no bounds, so now you'd think if you know Jaguar Wright, you would wonder if she ever lacked confidence. She's very loud. She has warrior archetype for sure, and she's not afraid of a challenge or a confrontation or a correcting of the record. But I've also seen her very vulnerable and soft in some of her interviews, and there's always a part of me that thinks it's a bit of a protective mechanism, defense mechanism. It's like maybe she thinks some of her strategies is to be that loud, brave warrior, because she's had to, survival of the fittest and all of that. But I do sense with Jaguar that the vulnerability doesn't come easy, and when she's in fight or flight, she may sort of not self-sabotage, but let's just see where the reading goes. That's just my little sense of what I've seen in her energy. I guess that kind of makes sense to me, is lack of confidence, discouraged, feeling of inferiority. And I think when she's been holding the line for so many survivors or victims, or she's seen the industry at its worst, and she allegedly walked away from it because she didn't want to sell her soul to the devil, even though she admits that she did have a turbulent past that she had to overcome herself. So she's not proclaiming innocence throughout her life. I feel like she did have a life on the streets. But I think when you're in survival mode, fight or flight, we always revert back to our own little stress triggers, right? And we don't always behave with our best, highest self, and we can go back into some of those old routines. So let's see where this reading goes with Jaguar. Emotional component with an essential oil. Gentle calmness provides cooling effects on perceived danger, out of control feeling. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying. Thanks, Spirit. Okay, 19. Oh, interesting. So that makes 10. 1 back to 1. Endings and beginnings. And the same with Ali Carter. It's like they both need to come to an ending with this mission they're on and a new beginning. It's like they're here in parallel lives. They're on the same path, even if they're slightly have different backgrounds to the story. I think there could be common recognition that they're on the same side with different strategies and different sort of momentum or different styles, and that they're not, I guess, on opposite sides. But let's go back to just Jaguar Wright. I don't want to make this about Ali Carter right now, but I just wanted to notice that synchronicity there with 19, and Ali had 28, which was 10 as well. Just a little chill. Little overdose there of chamomile on my hands. So sending that to you, Jag. Okay, so let's see what her current energy is. What did she come in with? What do we need to know about Miss Jaguar Wright? Thank you. Eternal child. Current energy. Okay. Soul contract. The sword. Yes. Warrior. The nectar. Ooh, that came out in Ali's reading. Collective lesson for us all. The sustainer. Before fame. The mountain. Post fame. The bridge. And kind of where she's headed now. The maiden. I feel with the eternal child for her current energy, it's like it's almost like the unhealed trauma in herself. I feel like she also had a tough childhood, but at the same time, the way she has projected that is to almost parent everyone else, to be everyone else's surrogate, warrior, supporter, hero. But there's a part of Jaguar that just needs the mending with herself. I feel like a lot of her, some of the important people in her life have potentially betrayed her. Some marriages, I think, even I think family members. And what's interesting is sometimes, like if we're talking about child SA or any of those sort of like dark subjects that we do with this channel, or with this series particularly, sometimes it's hard to see it from the child's perspective because it's part of the self that you don't want to see. And so it's better to parent. It's a defense mechanism, right? So I feel like Jaguar is definitely looking for love. I think she's definitely looking for support. I just worry about her self-sabotage, that she might come out guns blazing because of that survival strategy within her, that fight or flight, because she's had such mistrust in her life. I think that's why it lacks confidence and feelings of inferiority. It's like an overreaction sometimes to what, and it kind of almost disguises her true potential. It's that there's that part of her, that unhealed part of her that she looks to fix in others, but there's a part of her that she just needs to reclaim of herself. And it's actually closer than she thinks, I think. And I think part of this mission is getting her closer and closer to that, if she can just use a bit of discernment at the moment. It's like providing that calmness for when you're out of control. Like she's got the sword energy as a bit of a soul contract. And I feel like that is her weapon of truth, her words, her thoughts, her ideas, her strategy, her truth, her anchor into fighting what's right. I think she really is a warrior for that. But the problem with that is a double-edged sword. So sometimes you can come out swinging too hard that a few cuts or a few nicks along the way can harm people close to her. It's when the lightning strikes, or when she goes into that fight or flight, she can lash out, or she can be abrupt or cutting with her tongue. And also the fact that it might even be, I don't think she has backstabbing energy, but I think one of the perceptions she perceives a lot is that people are backstabbing her, and that's a survival, lack of trust, feeling inferiority, kind of. I mean, that happens to the best of us, right? We can project a lot of our feelings onto others, especially. But what's beautiful about this is that she is the warrior, and she can definitely be wielding that sword. So she's definitely got the truth to speak up to. She's got the potential to cut through and cipher the dark from the light. But sometimes there's a consequence. There's some casualties, and sometimes she gets it wrong, I guess is what I want to say. But she's not beyond reproach. I think her softer side will always see when she dampens down her out of control feeling and calms herself and recalibrates and self-regulates. She sees the light anyway, because this is what she beams. She beams so much color and inspiration for others. It's because she wants to heal people around her. But it's kind of like that. It's not codependency, but it's like, well, it's a little bit codependent. But I think as she's working through some of these patterns, she will be the bridge for others. But sometimes you almost have to take a little bit of your own medicine first, you know. We've got the nectar, which is an energy she shares with Ali. But in her reading, I get the sense that it's part of her soul gifts as well. I feel like her medicine is actually when she sings. I've seen her in concert, and I can see that she's connected to the source. I feel like she knows that too. It's like honey drips all the way through her spine. That nectar is just, it like, again, I want to point to these chakras. It's like, it kind of, it gets the juices flowing from the core. It's like when she steps into that mode, that's where her power really belongs. That's her healing energy towards others and herself. And even though it comes from her words as well, and her speech and her articulation, there's something about blending these two medicines, or these two powerful tools that she has, to bring her story forward and her mission forward, that's going to benefit us all. We've got the sustainer as the collective teaching. And this is a lot to do with, I feel like, you know, when you're either sustaining this energy for others, are you molding and making others feel better? Or are you nurturing and massaging yourself? And it's a delicate line. It's a delicate balance there, especially with the bridge here. It's like, there's always a space in between. You can offer your medicine, your elixir, your power, your words, but it has to land, and it has to reach, and it has to inspire for the magnets to connect, right? Got the mountain here. Again, it's a journey that Jaguar has been on. I mean, she's definitely got to, you know, some summits. She got to the top of some of her games, you know, whether legal or illegal. She's definitely been a survivor, and she's got to that summit. But sometimes that summit can imprison yourself. So it can either inspire others to come along for the pilgrimage, to reach higher ascent, but it can also isolate, because if you've had to go through such an enduring journey, from her childhood, from her adulthood, to, I guess, her alleged abuse in celebrity, to now becoming an advocate, and also, again, kind of living her life on the run a little bit, rules have to come in place, right? It can isolate you, it can make you rigid, Again, another delicate balance between the dark and the light. Can you isolate yourself and be so rigid that you almost become an island outside of your village? Or can you, how do you bridge that together, Jag? Don't separate yourself from your very own soul contracted mission, but remember that there's a collaboration that you need to surround yourself with. You can't always parent others. Sometimes you need to be that eternal child and allow others to support you. You have to let them in as well. And I feel like with the maiden, that is sort of learning how to be loved, learning how to respond, to be vulnerable, to allow that vulnerability to be seen and to be loved. But I do see this color of pink coming in. Maybe you can't see that in the camera. There is this sense of it. It's almost like the Kundalini spirit. I feel like it is rising within you. But you have been in warrior mode, and sometimes you have to switch gears, I think, Jag. Like that's the kind of feeling I'm getting. Her best qualities is when she is in that feminine mode, not that masculine caretaker mode. Like when she wields her sword of truth or her wisdom or her articulation of courage and blending it with her music skills and being that soft place, that's when she can find a new strategy to this mountain that's in front of her, of this journey that she's on. But not easy, right? When you've had betrayal along the way and so much loss, you can see why you would be in survival mode and this ability to look after yourself and only want to help people in your tribe that you can trust and support them back. But it can also be a bit of a stagnant flow because you might be too busy vetting people that you might not see the wood for the trees, which is a hard lesson for us all to learn, to not always stay in our self-sabotage programs. But I think when you stick to what you know, you stick to your own gifts and take care of yourself first with vulnerability and looking after your self-care, that's when you can then step back into some of the darker stuff. But you're doing it from a much higher frequency. Okay, so thank you. Let's just, whoa, too many. Okay, let's get another layer to Jaguar Wright. Artist, professional, collector, hobbyist, model. You know, she is an artist at heart, right? I do believe that is what inspires her the most. She's a storyteller. She's a storyteller, whether it's through song, documentaries, being a commentator on these tough subjects. It's like when she channels that into a way that heals her at the same time, that's when she's at her best. The sword. Ice age, blizzard, hypothermia, hail. Yeah, this, when you have a heart as big as Jaguar's, which I think she does because that's why she's a connected creator, and you know, she's channeling and she sees the light in humanity. But because of her personal chapters, it's kept her a little bit Ice Queen-like with her trust. Because when that ice shatters, the emotional capacity for Jaguar is huge. And she would probably die on the hill with you if, like, loyalty is big for her. But it's cracking through that crust of pain and trauma and distrust that she finds it hard. And that's why, this sword has the potential to, lash out to, as powerful as it is. The nectar. Injustice. Victim, injustice overturned, payback, revenge, perpetrator. I mean, that's part of Jaguar's story, right? I feel like part of her story has been the fact that she has been a victim on this world stage, and that there is an element of payback for her. She is looking for revenge. She's wanting to take some of these people down. I would just head some warning that sometimes be mindful of the taste of revenge that you have, that you don't slip into a little bit of perpetrator energy. I guess that's what I was saying with the distrust. Like if you are in very much self-preservation mode, it can, like that out of control feeling or that inferiority, that lashing out can be a bit, work against you. So I would say, Jag, just cool your jets a little bit when you're in that real heat of the moment, because you don't want to miss out on some of this truth serum that needs to happen. It's almost like with the sword and the nectar, that is truth serum. She's very good at delivering the truth, but sometimes might not be so great at hearing it or discerning it when it's for her highest good, because she'll fall into self-preservation and distrust. Yes, she's very good at getting the message of her story across as being truthful and authentic. But there is, unfortunately, there's a bit of, survival sabotage, that self-sabotage that doesn't allow that two-way exchange. The frequency can get a little bit jammed. Okay, let's go to mountain. Rise of civilization, planner, developer, dreamer, organizer. Well, you see, Jaguar is wanting to correct this. So consciously, she has all the right intentions. She wants to bring the elite down. She wants to dream a bigger dream for artists. She wants to be a developer, an organizer, and a planner of this strategy. She has the tools. She has the vision. It's just a little bit of the emotional behavior that might get in her way. I know she's in a new love relationship, so maybe she is working on this maiden quality. Maybe this relationship she has, her fiance, I think, may soften some of those edges. That maybe maybe that's the rise in the Kundalini energy here, is that she is starting to soften her fight or flight centers. Show me the bridge. Diet, fasting, deprivation, nutritional food issues, vegetarianism. Look, I would need to clarify this card, but I know she likes to cook. I know she loves to, part of her love language is cooking for others. I also want to say having your cake and eat it too. Okay, I'm going to wait to clarify that with tarot, but I feel like there is when I was talking about this codependent energy, it's like not everything has to be so decadent. Like whatever love language you're using or way you're delivering your message, it doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, because the nectar that you actually provide, your original essence, your song, your storytelling, your truth, when it's triangulated with this message of the maiden, it can be much more nourishing and nutritional, instead of like going for the big, glamorous, what's the word I'm trying to say? It doesn't have to be so show busy. It doesn't have to have the biggest views on, it doesn't have to be so audacious. It doesn't have to be so shiny. It can be a lot more simpler and, I don't know, I'll clarify that with tarot. The sustainer. military, infantry, navy, air force, weapons development. I kind of get the sense that when you shoot yourself in the foot, and this is the collective message for us, are we sustaining our lives, or are we sustaining the lives of others around us? Because that will end up becoming resentful. And I feel like with Jaguar too, it's like she's having to sustain this strategy of take it all down. But to what end? How will it impact her? Because it might mean that she might make mistakes. There might be friendly fire, I want to say. I feel like she definitely needs to calibrate this energy. She needs to come down a few meltdowns. Like, it's like she needs to just recalibrate her energy right now. Bully, easy target, flying monkey, scapegoat, tormentor. Yeah, I feel like, again, that's that weapon. There's a knife in this guy's hand. It's like they know how to yank her chain. It's like they know how to lock and load. It's like they know that she's going to be her own worst enemy when she's pitted against something else. I feel like it's like whoever is working to rattle Jaguar's cage, and I'm sure they are, one way or another, they know which buttons to push. And I think she's acting directly into their hands, meaning easy target. Even though she's very good at speaking the truth and sometimes discerning it, it's like too much of one thing. If you look into that strategy all of the time, you are going to get friendly fire. You are going to get accidental there's going to be accidental hits. And I feel like her energy right now, she is getting tormented. But be careful that the bully that's bullying her, meaning the trolls or the dark forces around her, that she doesn't play straight into their hands and lash out to comrades, I want to say. And I'm actually thinking of Ali Carter right now. Okay, let's see with tarot quickly. Six of Wands. I mean, Six of Wands is victory, right? But she's out there on the YouTubes. She's fully exposed. She's connected to this mission. But it's like, I almost want to say it's like spinning the wheel. It's like she doesn't know which strategy to take right now because it's all out bare. She's very exposed. I feel like she needs to... It's like, quit while you're winning, Jag. Just come off the world stage for a minute. Just take a little hiatus. Not for long, maybe 48 hours, but just recalibrate. Don't be encouraging more people into your camp to create an echo chamber. Because I feel like everyone wants to rush in and support you, and that it's triggering their fight or flight. And I feel like it's kind of might be spinning out of control. Six of Swords. See? Again, the sword, you're coming out being solo and wielding it. It's almost like you have to get your tribe on board, but you need to be doing it from... There's other people in this puzzle, Jag, that you need to collaborate with. And they're not all out to get you. There's some soul sisters, or there's some soul warriors, or there's... Now, maybe you know who they are, but make sure that you are elevated to a frequency that is moving towards calmer seas, than taking you into some ice disaster. Like, don't hit an iceberg that you don't see coming for your own blind spots. My God, 666, Six of Cups. Remember why you started all this, Jag. Recalibrate emotionally to your journey. There's a lot of water energy here. I feel like you need to surround yourself with water right now. You need to it's like you need to know when to hold them and know when to charge. But at the moment, these are bigger energies. There's too much charge. There's going to be plenty of time for that, right? But right now, it's like, go back to your basics. Go back to writing music. Go back to connecting to sounds. The Mountain. Shaman of Cups. King of Cups. I want to say this is like your fiance or Jack's fiance. I think his name's Waddell. But it's like this cauldron, this elixir, this nectar that Jaguar has. It's like he's pouring the cool water onto the fire. It's like he's simmering it instead of letting it boil over. So he's very good for her. He like creates balance for her. He keeps her on track. He keeps her a bit more emotionally contained, but I feel like he's still learning those ways. So he needs to, or she needs to be aware of what he's offering her right now and really listen. They do have a plan. They have a strategy. Queen of Swords. It's like somewhere between oversharing and creating all of this razzle dazzle, and it's like, stick to the point, be really ruthless in your message, take no prisoners, tell it like it is, but stay strong and stay away from the void in between what you're offering the story and how the others have to receive it, because some of it's not always up to you and how it's received. So it's no convincing. You can't sell this story. You can't tell people to reject stories. You can't tell people to accept stories. Stick to your truth. Don't sugarcoat it, and let the void take care of the rest. The Sustainer. The Hanged One. Yeah, you're gonna have to. It's like when we're so adamant on how we're going to perceive things or manage things or sustain things, and that I said you can sort of shoot yourself in the foot. It's here too. It's like, give yourself enough rope, you might hang yourself. Just take a pause, see it from a new perspective. Not everything is as it seems. Just reassess it. If you're sustaining it, does that feel heavy? Or are you maintaining it? Does that just feel like it's more in flow? Sustain seems like there's more burdened energy around it. It's like, it's not quite there. It shouldn't be this hard. The Maiden. Daughter of Discs. It's kind of like stay in your own sandbox. I feel like that's like a windmill or blades, or like whatever the interference is around you, ignore it. Just remember your truth. Just stay in your own lane for now. Don't let the interference disrupt you. Whenever you're in warrior mode, Jag, remember this pot of cooling agent, which I feel is here. Remember the cauldron. Remember the elixir. That's going to bring you back to center. What What should Jag do now? What's her next few steps in the next few months, in the next 2 or 3 months? Jaguar's energy. Show us Jag's energy in the next 3 months. Bottom of the deck, strength. 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, Knight of Swords. And bottom of the deck is strength, the red light. There's that knife again. Recalibrate, Jag. Stay still. There's another hidden surprise or new tools or new knowledge or new evidence. You're close, you're on it, but you haven't got the code yet because there's too much interference. You're being guided and guarded to not engage with any new intel that you have that you haven't. It's like, don't look for the code. Don't look what's in there. Don't hypothesize about what's hidden in that safe. It's guarded for your own protection. Just wait. There's too much. Any action is a warning when you're in this energy. When you're in sad, frustrated, disappointment from the past, things not going your way, feeling inferior, feeling discouraged, feeling depressed, lacking confidence, or feeling out of control. That's the moment where you just do hangman. You stop, you recenter, you go back to what nourishes you, you go back to what makes you feel like you. And then when you've calibrated your energy, Knight of Swords, that's when you can take action. That's when it's downhill all the way. That's when you build your strength. But right now, it's like red light, red light. You're going to need your strength later, but right now you've got to rest up. So I feel like Jag might be doing that. She might be trying to, she might be in a battle with herself, but right now I feel like it's an inaction period right now. There's things that still have to come to the surface. She doesn't have all the pieces to the puzzle. And that's okay, but that might make her feel out of control. That might make her feel suspicious. That might make her self-sabotage. But right now, strength. You're not alone. You are supported. So, yeah. Okay, if Jag's higher self had a message for us to close the reading, or even a message for Jag, what would it be? Whoa, got a lot to say. Enthusiasm. As a master, I see fulfillment of my destiny clearly. Success is my right, and my eyes do not stray to the temporary setbacks along the way. Ali Carter got that message too. Crazy, but true. Wonder. As a master, I open my eyes to the wonder of being, delighted in the way things turn out, amazed at the beauty of it all, the perfection, and I am happy. Empowerment. As a master, I understand the balance between freedom, support, and control. Encouragement and a light touch are normally the best way. Yes, a light touch, a feminine touch, your nectar, your natural gifts. Surrender. Introvertedness. As a master, I often turn to my internal realms where my original qualities of peace, love, and well-being reside. Nectar. I see the inner meaning of my existence, the purpose of my life, and I'm content. Go back to ground. Go back to you, Jag. Okay, that's all I have for you. And watch out for the Ali Carter reading. And also, I'm going to do a Jaguar versus Ali Carter next. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks a million.